Like I always say to people, I'm not afraid of problems because before Diamond became Diamond, he had to go through fire. Hello, it's your boy Mr. CV. I'm back with another special video, and I'm back on Wahala Wednesday. Like I always say, Wahala Tikpoju in Yoruba, and like I always say in Pidgin English, problem not finish. Now it's important that I also say that as well, because why are you scared about problems? Problems is part of life, and like I always say to people, I'm not afraid of problems because before Diamond became Diamond, he had to go through fire. Even Diamond, before he became what he is today, he had to go through problems. He had to go through fire. It's not easy to go through fire. So already, for that reason, I'm not scared of problems at all. I just embrace problems. Now, when problems comes now, I just embrace it, because you are going to get problems everywhere. Your family, your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister. Every problems comes everywhere. So for that reason, I don't fear for it. I smile. And they say in the Bible, he who is down fears no fall. So if you're already down already, why are you scared of falling? Get up, face the problems, tackle it head on, and see a way out. But also, I'm also going to give you some other parts as well in the video as well, because some people also gave me some other things as well for me to also look at. Now, people tell me I'm wise, I think differently. Trust me, it's not me. People actually give some of these things to me, and I think about it, and if it makes sense, I write it down, and I'll also share with you guys as well, and I share with my followers. And Wahala Wednesday is all about solving scenarios, solving problems. So like I always say, if you have any problems, if you have things you want me to talk on, and you feel I can give my best opinion, drop it into the comment section, or send me an email in the description below, and I will also get back to you and also give you my thoughts and opinion as well. Let me go through some of these parts first before I go into the video. As I was speaking to one guy that I used to work with before, and he gave me something which I feel I should share. It's just some words of wisdom. I wrote it down in Pidgin English, and I'm going to say it and translate it in normal English or just English in general. He says, person will get map for where they go, not be everywhere they stop. What that means is, if you don't know where you're going, everywhere will look like where you are going. Wow. If you don't have a direction of where you're going, you're just going to stop everywhere, because you're going to think, oh, everywhere looks like the place you're going, and you're just going to be hopping from here, hopping from there, rather than having a direction and staying focused. And this one, he says, if you focus on your mission, you will get to your destination quickly. And that's just basically what that other person was trying to say when they said the previous part. Like, if you focus on your mission, now obviously there's going to be lots of distractions, there's going to be lots of things trying to stop you from achieving where you're going. But if you're focused, if you keep going, trust me, a lot of things you will be able to achieve. And just the final one before I go straight into the video, say, every new level you ascertain, there's a new devil to entertain. Wow, it might sound like you're rapping, but trust me, as you're growing bigger, as you're going bigger in life and you're growing, you have to face new challenges. You have to face new devils. And these are just part of growth. And if you don't want to face new challenges, you don't want to face new devils, then it's either you stay where you are. And the only thing that is stagnant is the smelly water. So if it's not smelly water, constant water is always moving. So for me, that's why I say at the beginning of the video, challenges now are not something I fear. I've gone through too many things in my life to be fearing challenges. When the challenges come, I smile at it, I embrace it, and I try and find ways that I can deal with it. I've stopped worrying about it. I've stopped working myself. No. I've gone through too many battles in my life to be scared about any challenges. So whatever challenges that come, I face it, because I'm a person that wants to grow. I'm a person that wants to develop. And if you want to grow and you want to keep developing, then you have to face new devils. So the more devils you face and the new devils you're facing, the more you're also growing stronger and bigger and more challenges. And one thing I know for sure is God will not give you, me, I'm a believer of God, I'm a Muslim, God will not give you challenges that he knows you cannot handle. So if God gives me a challenge, I embrace it, and I know that is the challenge within my capabilities to handle. So for that reason, I don't fear it at all, and I have no reason to fear. So I'm going to go straight into the video, go into my wahala today, and brace yourself, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the video. So first wahala for you, so I'm going to read it. It says, I had a nikah in the UK with my wife, and my wife's family is back in Nigeria. We agreed we'll have a proper wedding in Nigeria too. So nikah is a Islamic wedding. He says, however, after seeing the cost of everything, I and my wife decided against doing a big wedding in Nigeria. My wife's family had agreed to the plan, so I decided to tell my family, and that's where the problem started. My dad saw reason in what I said and the plan, but my stepmom insisted the wedding must go on as agreed. This angered me and I lashed out. This led to big problems in the family and ended up with everyone choosing sides. I really don't know what to do. Wow. Wow. Now this thing of wedding and celebration and it's a big problem, because I come from a country, Nigeria, where wedding or celebration is like a big thing. Even in families, you have half that are Christians, you have half that are Muslims. So when it comes to Eid, even though you're a Christian, you celebrate. And when it comes to Christmas, even though you're a Muslim, you also celebrate. Obviously, some people come from extended families, and where they have stepbrothers, stepsisters, their dad or might have married multiple women. So obviously this also creates problem within the family as well. But going back on this issue where he says obviously they already agreed a plan to have a wedding in the UK. No, the nikah, which like I said is an Islamic wedding. How big you want it to be is totally up to you. But they already had nikah in the UK, and obviously as the girl's family is not in the UK, that's why they also say they're going to have a proper wedding in Nigeria, because it will make sense as the girl's family is not going to be here to witness it. Obviously that caused problems, because obviously if you're now traveling to Nigeria, there's so many things to factor in, which the guy did in terms of the cost. And a lot of these weddings, I'm not against having big wedding. Obviously when I did mine, it was quite small, because first of all, what am I doing a big wedding for if the means are not available? I'm thinking about it as well, wedding only lasts for one day, which realistically I'd rather take some of the money and put it into other things that I feel will be more valuable to my family, to myself. But obviously everybody has a choice, and everybody can talk within their partners or their families and decide what to do. But in this case, where the guy is seeing that, wow, the cost of it will go over his budget, or the cost of it is going to be something that might affect him. Because a lot of these families or a lot of these people, one of the issues is they'll encourage you to do a lot of things. Oh, I want you to have a big wedding, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. But unless they are going to sponsor it financially, sometimes it doesn't make sense on you to go along with that plan. Because at the end of the day, when everything is all over, you are the person that is going to feel it the most. And that is the honest truth. Because let's say for example, I know some people, or I don't know some people, I've heard some people, they go and borrow money for a wedding, getting themselves in 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 pound debt, and at the end of the day, who ends up paying? It's not the family that's paying, it's you that is doing the wedding. So in this situation, obviously due to the decision they've made, it's caused a lot of problems in their family. And also it might be a case where the groom's family, they probably went to go and call people, tell a lot of people about it. So in their mind, they're thinking everything is going on. Obviously, now that there's a change of plan, it's like they have to go back and tell those people that, whoa, it's not happening anymore. It might have been as a result of that that's made them angry, which obviously I don't know. Obviously on the guy lashing out as well, obviously it's just emotions coming out as well, because he's probably thinking, I'm the one that's going to suffer this, but you guys are not seeing it from my own perspective. And it's very important to actually see things from people's perspective. We have millions of people in the world, and everybody has their own perspective of how they see things. Even some people might think me doing this while on Wednesday, how I see things is not even the correct way. And that's fine, because everybody's allowed to think how they want to think based on their own experience. So back to what I was saying, as a result of that, obviously that's his emotions speaking. But one thing I would say to guys and girls is, I know it's not easy, but in whatever situation you find yourself in, try and remain as calm as possible. Try and have even patience as well, because they also say that whoever has patience has everything. Because trust me, a lot of the time, if you're patient about a lot of things and you're calm, you can solve a lot of situations, you can resolve a lot of situations amicably. If you start lashing out, getting angry, being emotional, that's when you start saying things you don't mean or you don't want to say. And then words are like egg. Once you drop it on the floor and it breaks, you can't put it back together. So you have to just be a bit careful. When it comes to family matter, when it comes to family problems, it's a difficult one. I'm not a believer of, oh, just because my family don't agree with something, I'm just totally going to stop speaking to my family. And no, because my family also plays a huge part in my life. So some of these things as well, you have to apply a bit of wisdom and you have to be a bit calm to resolve the situation. But for me, like I stated as well, if it's going to affect you financially and it's going to affect you, because at the end of the day, you and your partner are the one that's going to be feeling the after effects of the wedding. So if it's going to affect you and it's going to affect you financially, then for me, it's better to do something that is reasonable and something that you know you'll still get your desired result, but without affecting you. But if you have abundance of money where you feel like, oh, if I spend 40,000, 20,000 on my wedding and it's not going to affect me, then why not? Why not? Some people are blessed like that. I was even talking to a good friend of mine and we were talking about whether traveling, going to Nigeria, going to this. And it's funny because I have friends that they travel to the UK just to come and buy just for one day and then go back to Nigeria the next day. Whilst people like myself or other people, we have to plan ahead in months in advance, or we have to have booked the ticket. If we're going in August, we have to have booked in like January. And for me, obviously, it's easy to start envying them and start complaining, why is their life better than mine? No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Everybody's destiny is just different. So what I'm trying to say in this situation is, yes, of course, if you have the abundance of money and you can spend 40,000, 20,000, why not? But not everybody has that. Not everybody has that. So whatever level you are in, do it according to your level and make sure that you're satisfied with it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about who's there, who's not there. Some of these people are only going to remember you for that day. But when problem starts in a marriage or when problem starts in your relationship, these people, trust me, they're not going to be there. So it's better do what is in your capabilities and try and amicably sort this out. So that's my opinion on that. I'm going to go on to scenario number 2. So second problem is, I love the guy I'm in a relationship with. He's great on many aspects, but he struggles with romance. Should I leave him and look for someone else? I'm not planning to leave him, but it is frustrating as romance is something important to me. Now this part is it can be a big part in a relationship. And obviously it's a thing where within a relationship there's a lot of things that you also have to know. You have to understand the other person, because you and the other person, you're both different. You have to understand their love languages. You have to understand many things. Now when it comes to these relationship, marriage and stuff, the reason why I don't really give my opinion on a lot of those things is because there's no manual to doing a lot of these things. You will read books, they'll say do it this way. You read that, they say do it this way. But there isn't one way fits all, because everybody's different and every relationship, every marriage is different. Also, one thing I also want you to remember is no marriage is perfect and no two people are perfect. We're all human beings. For me, I'm a strong believer in, if your partner is not good at something, I'm a strong believer in you need to try and help your partner. You need to try and support your partner. I'm not a believer of, if your partner is not good at it, just move on, look for someone else. Because when you look for someone else, when you leave that person and you look for someone else, what's going to happen is the other person you meet, they're also going to have problems as well. They're going to have things that they're not good at. So what are you going to do? Are you going to leave them again? Go look for someone else. You can't keep doing that. So at some point, you need to wait. If your partner has, let's say, 60-70% of something, but the 30% remaining is the parts that they don't have, you try and work with them, you try and work on them. Because as much as you're complaining that, oh, your partner is not good at this, I'm sure if you sat with your partner right now and I asked them, what are you not good at? I'm sure they can list 1 or 2 things as well. If your partner is willing to work with you and willing to actually get better, then it's important not to just leave a person just like that. And when it comes to these parts as well, when you are in a relationship or in marriage, it's important that you focus on the good qualities of your partner. Because when you start looking at the negative qualities of your partner, what happens is it starts to overweigh their good qualities. And in life in general, negativity thrives more than positivity. So when people focus on the negative, or when you do that one negative or that one thing that your partner doesn't like, or that one negative, it can overshadow all their good work. So for me, it's important that you focus on your partner's positive side and try and work with them. At the end of the day, it's a work in progress. And one thing as well regarding this as well is, man or woman, you have to be willing to be taught. You have to have a level where you are open to developing yourself. Because as a human being, you can't have it all. You can't have it all. Even if your partner had all these great qualities, there will still be your flaws. There will still be a flaw in your partner. And you can't use that one flaw and all of a sudden say, oh, for that reason, you don't want to be with your partner anymore. No, I don't believe that's right. If you love your partner enough, they should be willing and loving enough to be able to work with them in their good parts, in their bad parts. Of course, accept them as they are because that's their nature. But your partner, number one, should be willing to work on those parts that needs developing. But you also have to be willing to teach your partner, to support them. Because at the end of the day, you also need to mold them and guide them to how you want them to be. You can't just expect your partner just to be, this perfect. Because at the end of the day, you saw how your partner is and you saw how they're like. If this aspect was a massive aspect for you and you knew that obviously this is not a quality that your partner has, then you should have went with someone that had that quality from the beginning. But you didn't. Now you're now with your partner, you realize that this is an aspect that he doesn't have. You can either work with him and support him and guide him, or the easiest solution is to leave. But for me, I don't believe that should be the first solution. I believe you should be able to work with your partner. If your partner then is not ready to allow you to work with them, or not ready to be taught, that's when you can start having second thoughts whether that person is right for you or not. But if your partner is willing to try and be worked on and they're willing to make efforts regarding that part, then of course it goes a long way in the relationship. For me, like I said, I'm not a relationship or marriage expert, but one thing I do know is for sure is that no marriage, no relationship is perfect. And if you keep hopping from here to there to there to there, you realize that nobody's perfect. So sometimes when you find something good and there are flaws here and there, try and work with it. That's my mindset on it. Because I just believe the easiest thing is to walk away. But how many times are you going to keep walking away? Because even the next person you go to, whether guy or girl, they're going to have flaws as well. So if they have flaws, what are you going to do? Are you just going to quit as well? No, you don't. So that's just my take on it. People that are better in marriage or relationship, please drop a comment in the comment section, because you might have a better solution. I'll talk as well for my personal reflection. Now, romance is not something that I'm the best at, and I don't have any shame in saying that. I say that to my partner. I don't have any shame in saying that, because once you acknowledge that this is not something that you're good at, what happens is you're able to seek help. You're able to be supported. When you start behaving like, I know it all, I do this, that's when you look like a fool. So for me, like I said, romance is not something I'm perfect at, and I don't have any shame in that. Because growing up and my environment, these are not something I saw. These are not something that was taught. These are some things that you might see in movies, but until I'm a practical person, until I actually practice some of these things, they don't come natural to me. So I'll keep like they don't come natural to me. It's something that I need to learn, and my partner needs to help me develop, which she's doing an amazing job, by the way. It's important that you self-reflect as an individual, because at the end of the day, you can't have it all. We're all work in progress. But one thing for me, which I always say to my partner, is I'm going to try my best in all aspects. And once you've tried your best and you know you're making effort, your partner can see you're making effort, which hopefully your partner also appreciates that effort. So once you're making that effort and you're trying your best, then the rest, there's nothing else you can do. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go to a last scenario. I'm in a relationship with a guy and he's from a different culture and religion from me. I'm not very practicing my religion, so I'm not bothered. I would prefer for us to spend the weekend together, but he has to look after his parents as they're getting old. Should I make him choose between me or his parents? Wow. This goes back to my first part. When it comes to family, it's a difficult one. Especially when you come from different cultures, different religions. Obviously, depending on your religion, your culture, that also plays a part too, because people also have their opinion on how they feel family should be, how they feel the culture should be. But also as well, cultures such as, let's say for example, Asian cultures, where even no matter the age, even when their parents are getting older, their children, they still live in the family house. Or even when they're married, they still live in their family house. And in that case, obviously, to them, family is a massive part for them. But also as well, there might be other reasons why they also live in a family house. Obviously, it builds a great community around them. But also as well, it helps financially as well, because you can save a lot more money than if you was going to rent a house right now. Right now, if you're trying to rent a place, rent a flat right now, even a 2-bedroom, you're looking about 2,000 plus, which is a lot. If you times that by a year, you're paying about 2 times 12, 24,000 pounds a year just on rent alone, which is a lot that you can put towards other uses, because rent is a massive part of, if you're living in the UK especially, rent takes a lot of real money away. It does. So my point is, obviously, when it comes to these kind of situations, there's also other benefits of living at home. And once you live at home, depending on your kind of mentality as well, your parents take as well, they could take the mentality that, oh, as they're your parent, they have a right over you, which they do, which even Islamically, your parents do have a right over you. But some parents do take that very far, in the sense that they become dependent on their children, and it's like, oh, my children, once they've given birth to children, it's like, oh, my children have to look after me. Obviously, like I said, it depends on the mentality. Now, when it comes to these between choosing their parents or choosing you, obviously that's a tricky one. For me, I feel whilst you're in their relationship, or if it's a marriage, it's a case of having a conversation with your partner, explaining how you feel, having an honest conversation, explaining how you feel. I'm not saying a lot of these things I'm saying are easy, because they're not easy conversations to have. But there are things where you need to be honest, you need to be open, and you need to say, look, this is how I'm feeling. And you have to come to a compromise where you can meet each other in a way. But another factor as well that I want to say is in terms of the religion. Now, religion is a big factor. Religion is a big factor. Because even when you are in the same religion, that's also another problem too. Because one person can be practicing in the other. That's another factor. And if you're a different religion, that's also another wahala again. That's also another problem. But obviously it depends on how you take the religion. In this case, the person said she's not that bothered. So as she's not that bothered, the guy could be bothered in terms of religion. There's so many hiccups along the way. But like I said, these are things where you need to have a conversation about. You need to be communicating about, because obviously in some way I can sense the girl's frustration, in the sense that weekend you want to see your partner. And also in terms of that as well, obviously during the week you're constantly working, so you don't even have time for each other. And the weekends that you do have time, your partner has to look after their parents, which obviously it can be quite tricky. So for me, I just believe you just need to have a conversation about it, and you need to know where each other stands so that you can find a compromise in the situation. So that's all on Wala Wednesday. Like I said, Wala no they finish, problem no they finish. Wala take watch, because there's always going to be problems in this life. But like I mentioned before Diamond became Diamond, he had to go through fire. So if Diamond had to go through fire, why are you scared about problems? Embrace problems. Go with problems. Embrace problems. Smile at it. Find ways. Don't beat yourself too much about it. Find ways to deal with these problems. Because whether you like it or not, problems are part of life. And you can't escape problems. In fact, sometimes we need problems to allow us to grow. And like I said, every new level you ascertain, there's a new level to entertain. So unless you don't want to grow, unless you want to remain stagnant, as you're growing, you're going to be facing new challenges. So it's important that you start training yourself physically, mentally, to be able to withstand those challenges, because challenges are part of life. Like I always say, as your boy Mr. CV, keep watching, keep subscribing, keep following the channel. Every time you support this channel, every time you allow this channel to grow, we're becoming bigger, we're becoming better. I'm becoming more confident in doing these videos as well. And it's through your support that is giving me the confidence to continue. So don't forget to keep supporting your boy Mr. CV. Have a fantastic day and keep smiling. Keep going through these challenges, keep going through these problems. And if you have any things that you want me to speak on, you want me to give my opinion on, make sure you drop it in the comment section or send me an email and I can say my opinion on it and hopefully help you out as well. As always, keep watching my videos, keep watching my Wala Wednesday, and keep watching my other videos. Take care, and I'll see you soon.